All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Steve, if you would lead us in a short prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, thank you for all your blessings. Thank you for being with us throughout the day, through the rest of this week. Thank you for the sunshine, Lord. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've got for our farmers to get the crops in the field. Thank you, Lord, that we're able to meet like this and deliberate the business of our community, Lord, and our folks that live in our county, Lord, and just help us to act and behave in a way that's pleasing to you. And ask all these things, Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. All right. Did you have a chance to look at the minutes from May 16th?
Make motion to approve.
Okay, I had a couple minor corrections here and questions. I'm not sure who Steve Stoppenhagen is, but I'm not sure if Steve Coon or Steve Stoppenhagen. He's dead.
I can fix that.
And the only other thing I had a question on, and I don't know if this is a correction or just a question.
Next time, let me know before the meeting. So I print that out. I don't have a printer down.
Okay. On the issue of Adams County Economic Development, it said there was not a consensus on this topic.
Right.
And there kind of was a consensus that we would not contribute, so.
So maybe there was not an action on this topic.
There was not.
There wasn't
Well,
an action.
the action was to not.
Yeah, action was.
Yeah, I'll change
no
those two
action.
things.
So I don't know how we want to word that. I guess.
And I know what happened on the thing is,
I guess in my mind, there was an action. The action was to say, no, we're not.
Well, it really wasn't a motion.
I thought
It was-
it was just tabled.
Yeah, it was.
No action was taken because
There was not a.
Yeah,
there
I
was no
don't think,
motion.
I don't think he was told never to come back.
Yeah, there was
Right.
no motion.
so yeah, just maybe no action at this, yeah.
So instead of consensus, there was no action.
Discussion
Yeah.
died due to the lack of a
Yeah.
motion or something.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I will change
yeah,
that.
those were the
but-
only two things that I saw.
But yeah, if I've told Steve before, if
He
you
yelled
would
at
let
me
me
too
know,
last time.
let me know prior to the meeting because I can't print this down here if I change things.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But I will change those two things.
All right, thank you, Tony.
So I'll amend my motion to be as modified.
Okay.
Okay,
Motion to approve as modified.
all right.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate you thinking of my
Yeah.
brother, though.
Well, for the next Steve, name wasn't Steve, was it?
Yeah.
Really? I did not even know.
Yeah.
Didn't know you had a brother.
You want us to go ahead and sign this copy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I put the fixes in there and then I can go in and fix some of the other things. too.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
it's just cleaner and easier the other way.
Okay. All right, Tony, what else do you have for us?
Okay, I have utilities paid into LAO. And the amount on that is $36,482.26. And I passed that out to you both for the meeting, $36,482.26.
Okay. I'd accept a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
All right, second.
Okay. And next we have the Allied monthly claims, which is for the administration and so forth and so on. And the amount is $71,373.85, $71,373.85.
Motion approved.
Second. I'm gonna lay the pile that goes back on your right
That's
here.
fine. Some of these already have your signature and some don't, so that one and this one. Now we have the Allied weekly health insurance claim, and this is all medical. And it's $7,474.25.
All right.
74, 74, 25, all medical. deliver those numbers.
Right? Second.
All right, then we have payroll claims. And the payroll claims are in the amount of $372,202.16, $372,202.16.
Yeah. If you got any questions on that, I accept the motion.
I'm done. Motion approved.
All right, second.
All right, and this is the first thing I think that you guys will actually sign.
Oh, no, sorry.
Accounts payable claims, which you all should have received an email for those, and the amount is $323,330.20, $323,330.20.
Tony, the only question I had in this, and you probably don't know the answer to this, from US Imaging out of Recorders.
That is for
Office.
scanning his
Scanning,
books.
that's what I figured.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we are going to get from his fund, because it could be used for preserving records, some of our plat books, we're going to have protective sleeves put on them and so forth, because the pages are getting kind of frail when they search. So he's going to give us some of the money to preserve those records here in the near future.
Cool.
So,
Good deal.
yeah.
Motion to approve claims.
Okay.
Second.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. I think the only other thing that I have, Fritz Baltmeyer could not be here. He asked me if I would seek approval for Memorial Day ceremonies. I think at 11 a.m. at the Peace Monument at the courthouse. I passed out the letter that he sent on that. The guest speaker this year will be Chief Deputy Sheriff Eric Beer. And this is at 11 a.m. at the Peace Monument on Monday, May 29th. He's just seeking permission for use of that.
Make motion to approve.
Second.
Newspapers want a copy of the,
Sure.
you have one? Here you go, Jim. I'll bring it to you.
Yeah, it's always an excellent ceremony. It's an excellent way to honor our veterans that have passed, and so I appreciate the color guard and appreciate them doing that.
Okay. I believe that is all that I have.
Thank you. Brad, Paul?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we start off with permits today. All of these are for Indiana Michigan Power placing poles. The first one is on 350 South between 200 West and US 27, 2 poles. The second one is on 300 South between 000 and 100 East, 1 pole. The third one is on 100 East between 300 South and 350 South, 1 pole. And the last one is on 1100 South between 150 East and 275 East, and they are replacing 6 poles. And we went and looked at all of them. Again, they're just replacing some of the bad poles, putting them back in the same spots.
All right. Do you want to take those all together?
Yes, if you would, please. They're all Indiana, Michigan. So.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Second. I do always appreciate you going out and looking at them. I mean, that's nice to.
And we like to make sure they're at the back. I mean, if they're already existing, they're usually at the back of the right of way, but we just kind of watch out, make sure they're not going to interfere with any of our stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, the next item that we have, we received our monthly draw. The MVH for the month of May, $317,535.96. $317,535.96. And then on the backside, the local road and the street. For the month of May, $46,962.72. $46,962.72.
All right, very good.
Motion to accept that report. Any motion on that, Stan?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'll second that. Unless you got any comments on that.
No, again, we're going into summertime. Apparently
It's an
driving,
increase, not a big increase,
Yep.
but it's an increase.
so people are driving more again,
Yeah.
which is kind of typical, but there again, I'm trying to figure out some months it doesn't make sense.
What their rhyme or
Yeah,
reason is on
exactly.
that. Yeah.
All right, so the next thing we have, you get another handout. If you remember, quite a few months ago, we discussed this dirt loader, burn machine, to pick up the dirt.
Yeah.
Paul's been diligently looking, and as we explained, you can't find them. He came across this one
Last Thursday.
last Thursday. And it is a 2019. The picture you have is just a sample picture. That's the machine. That's not the actual machine, but we're going to give you something so you know kind of what we're looking at.
Sure.
So it is a 2019 with 902 hours. And they're asking 170,000, which is over the 150 we had asked for. So we want to just discuss some of this. It is in Dunn, North Carolina.
Are some of these features comparable to
That's basically the
It's
same.
basically the same machine. There's only two companies in the country that
Okay.
make them, and this is one of them, and then the Lee Boy is the other company, which is what we were pursuing the most, but this one actually popped up in my searches. So seems equal as far as comparability across the board. So
I was gonna say, that sounds like a heavy duty, 137 horse motor on there.
Now you figure it gets that belt loaded up with dirt, though, there's a lot of weight there.
Right.
So, yeah, Paul's been looking this whole time. And
We don't have one of these right now.
that's,
we have an old Athi machine,
Okay.
which they don't make parts for anymore, and it is beyond repair at this point. So that's the reason we were looking for a new one, because we use that for berming the roads.
How much would a new one be if you could find one?
280,000.
That's
And
kind
then
of
that
a,
would be ordering and with the supply chain, how long it would even take. And it's a machine that with weather fit, we use a month or two out of the year. So it's really hard to justify a new price for sure, but
yeah.
How old do you think the one is that you have now that you can't repair?
I was gonna say a 69.
69.
69,
Yeah.
73, somewhere, it's old.
Is a horse drawn?
Not quite, not quite. Really close.
This is a stupid question, but I assume that there is every intention to continue the process of berming.
yeah. So that we were trying last year when the old one broke down and found out it's basically beyond repair.
Yeah,
Yeah, then we
But I mean, that's a process that helps shed water.
We could berm, I mean, we could berm if we had a place to get rid of the dirt when the crops are on, that was not driving clear from one end of the county to the other, we could berm always. I mean, every road in the county needs burned. Just one of those things that by the time you get done, every road, you have to start over.
So
So since
basically,
we're over 150,000, then, and due to the availability of, I mean, you've been looking for months and months and months for replacing that unit. I assume this doesn't fall into the 3 bids or,
Well, it doesn't, I mean, I think due to the availability of this type of machine, it's a specialized machine. You know, and they've been looking, and, you know, if there's nothing else out there, if this is the best option, then I think you can approve the purchase on the basis that only once it is a used machine, there's a very limited, supply. Only one source meets the using agency's reasonable requirements, and that is a used secondary market source. And availability is very limited. So I think with the proper documentation in the record, you could approve the purchase. You have the funds appropriated, you got enough
yes,
money.
when we came the first time and asked for the 150, you know, we've had the money set back, and this is at 170, but yeah, we've got the money in our equipment budget.
Is that the low price, will they
Well,
negotiate?
that's, like I said, Paul just found this Thursday. He's been on the phone. He's been emailing, hey, is this thing even still there? Because they go so quick. And so the gentleman you're dealing with, man, it's a negotiable price, but at this point, we just would like to get the ball rolling.
Yep,
And I assume we would have it transported back here.
Okay, so then that's the other thing too, this being in North Carolina, we want to go look at it first. So I don't know how that works, you know, to get your permission, and it'll be Paul and maybe one other guy if we can, if not, not a big deal. Paul will drive down there. It's a 10-hour drive. Go down, look at it, and come back the next day.
And then upon purchase, we'd have to.
Yes, then
We'd have
we-
trucking to get it here,
Yes,
which,
would that involve a semi?
yes.
because of its height, it has to be on a low boy and it only runs 28 mile an hour, so it'd be a long drive back from North Carolina.
Yeah, but, you know, if you charge for berming along the way through
That's
Jersey.
what
We talked about that.
Yeah. So we should have it here by next year sometime.
Next year, I mean, as many miles there is between here and there, it could be partially paid for.
It's got 902 hours on it now. It'd probably have that many more on it.
Yeah, it would be wore out by the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you figure with the expense of going down and looking at it and come back, and then the trucking, how much is that gonna add to the?
We figured the
cost?
trucking is probably gonna be 3,000 to 4,000. But we're also hoping that if this is to go up negotiable, maybe we can negotiate it down some, help cover that cost of the trucking.
Oh. Yeah. So all it's gonna take is a motion on our part to approve the purchase.
purchase of the specialized equipment
So,
and the
Do we have
use,
to include the transportation in that motion, do you think?
that's just gonna be part of it. But, yeah, I mean, it would include the, yeah, approve the cost to purchase plus transportation.
Okay.
The used machine, specialty equipment. It appears that only one source meets the using agency's reasonable, or meets the county's reasonable requirements. And, there are no other options due to supply chain.
I'd make the motion to approve the purchase of this Burmer for up to $175,000,
Might not be a bad
including
idea.
transportation,
May not be a bad idea.
in hopes that you can get it for less than that.
Yes.
And approve the trip down to inspect it prior to purchase.
all right, I'll second that.
And that would be as a special purchase, as I mentioned, is a used machine with limited supply.
Okay,
So, and hoping, you know, again, Paul's been in contact with them even yesterday because we're like, hey, you
Sure.
still even have it after
Yeah.
3 days. So anyhow, that's tomorrow, boom, go. So,
Good deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the day and age we live in.
yeah. So the only, thank you, by the way, the only other question I do have is Mark, the speed limit reduction thing, did that pass? You know?
I don't
I
know.
I looked through the channels and I didn't see that the governor signed it.
I don't know if it did or not. To see.
I saw it, as you know, this is a refresher, I just wondered if I've looked through the bills, I see the ones that he signed, and I assume those are now law. This wasn't one of them that was signed unless I missed it.
Most of the ones they're signing take effect July 1,
Is that what it is?
typically.
Yeah,
Do you remember what the bill number was?
that 1411,
Is that House bill?
yeah, it was a house.
Okay.
And other than that, unless you guys have questions about anything, we're mowing, they're gearing up, they're patching, they're gearing up for dust control here in a week or two. So, yeah,
Any progress on trucks or any, as far as,
Pickup trucks?
Pickup trucks,
oh, yeah,
the pickup truck is the whole allocation for the discount and everything else. They're not releasing it now until the end of the month. The dealership IDs that we're dealing with is able to order it as a normal customer order and then change it to the commercial or our governmental bid when it gets here. So he's went ahead and ordered that to get it in line. He's hoping that it'll show up here in June or July. So, good. But as of now, we don't know what kind of discounts there are or anything like that. But
also, there's no guarantee on that.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
They could call up and say, no, we're not going to build it. But
Yeah.
so far he hasn't seen a lot of that. So hopefully.
it's hard when I see the lot out here just sitting jam
Yeah.
packed full of pickup trucks.
Well, and then not to keep talking, but I heard too that they're shutting the GM plant down again for what, a week or two because they're so far ahead. So,
So why can't dealers get those?
I mean, they do, that's, I think it's just the half tons they make up there, but still. Yeah,
It
anyhow,
makes sense.
supply and demand. Yeah,
I guess.
so,
Yeah.
anyhow,
All right.
thank
well,
you.
Sounds like progress anyway.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, building maintenance, I talked to Rick a little bit before the meeting. The elevator, replacement is in progress, so that's shut down, so, anything on the other floors will have to be dealt with on the first floor for handicap accessibility. The roof, he said, was scheduled sometime in August, I think, to start. And I think if he had did he have anything else?
I think so.
Okay, so, all right. 125 is still not finished. He's waiting on the final door slab down there to finish that room down there for use. So that'll be our training room and complete with WebEx and accessibility for that. So anyway, we're making some progress. Treasurer, Ed, do you have anything for us?
Morning.
Good morning.
Real quick here today. Taxes are all posted and are up to date at this point for the spring collection. We're at just shy of 98%. We will be having some more trickle in late payments and such. And then as we start to prepare for our tax sale coming up, that'll bring some people in when they get those final letters. State Board of Accounts is continuing their audit. They come in from time to time and ask for something, and they're always happy that we got our hands right on it, give them what they want. And I know Tony is the same. They spent some time going to the clerk's office as well, so I know they're being pretty thorough in what they're doing. Last week I told you about a bond that I had purchased that will actually be on our next monthly report, but it was for the tune of $436,310. I took all that was left, but the yield on it was 4.989%. So it's that shy of 5%.
Wow.
And it was just so close to 5% that I had to get it. And it filled in a spot where I needed it too, so. And then I am working with our 4 banks to gather some financial well-being information. Shannon had asked me to see if I could get our banks to participate in that. She wants to give a brochure, not a brochure, a whole booklet of information to any new hire that comes in. And we want to encourage our new employees to have proper financial tools to help them succeed in life, you know. And the one bank has really jumped on board, and I'm hoping to get all 4 of our banks on board with this and to get some good information. And it's good for them because they can get some new clients out of it too.
So is that for the benefit of retirement funds and
Kind of the whole gamut.
IRAs and all
Yeah,
that?
you know, if you want to put a little bit more in each week, how it can compound and some examples of that. But there's going to be several different things they're going to be working at. But I got one bank on board, and I should have that information this afternoon to give to Shannon, and she will take care of doing all the dispersing with whatever new hire we may get.
So that won't affect, Shannon, that won't affect any of our personnel policies directly. It's just an additional service that,
Yeah, so I actually asked for that because the department invited me to an office wellness event last week, and I sat in for it, and one of the things that they talked about was financial wellness amongst employees. So a couple of years ago, Ed had reached out and said that one of our banks provided like a program that we could provide to employees, so I'm just following up.
cool,
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, just
So-
information is all.
Yeah, just information. Good, thank you.
And then, of course, any of our current employees could gain from that too, and I'm sure Shannon will make that available to anybody, but the idea of getting people with the proper tools, knowledge on how to take their money and make it work, you know, toward retirement and compounding, whatever, you know, you put an extra $10 in the savings every week, and it's amazing how, you know, for so many years, how it adds up. It really is amazing. So,
As opposed to putting it towards a fishing boat or something.
yeah, don't buy my bait or, you know, latte
Or,
or whatever.
yeah, all
But
right.
that's all I have.
Well, good. Well, we definitely want to see our employees succeed.
We do.
Yeah.
Appreciate you and Shannon working on that.
All right. Shelley was coming up. She's not here yet. She's scheduled.
You want to address the farm,
Let's do that, so
That'd
these
be
guys,
great.
yeah,
they've got.
we had that on. So we originally scheduled today to take bids on the lease of approximately 63 acres, which would have been that tract 3 of the Golden Meadows property. The commissioners then did confirm the sale of that tract several weeks ago. And so that lease that we advertised for 63 acres is no longer possible. We need to calculate the remaining acreage. We do have one bid turned in for the remaining acreage, but yet we don't have it calculated. I guess I'd recommend that since we don't know exactly what the acreage is, in the notice to bidders for the lease, it's always stated, and it was in the notice, that the commissioners they reserve the right to reject all bids. I think at this time, we don't have enough information concerning exactly what tillable acreage we have there. You've only got one bid. I'd recommend that you reject the bids on the basis that that tract has been sold, and so the notice for the 63 is no longer valid. And then we can talk to individuals about maybe leasing that once we have a handle on how much acreage that is, so.
Do we have, I guess we're kind of down to the point where, I mean, crops are going in the ground right now. I would think that we would need to somehow move to leasing that, whatever's left there.
You could lease it for 1 year to the purchaser of that tract, is subject to, negotiating a fair rental value, and then get it done.
And
So I
even,
guess the motion would include rejecting any any?
Yeah, I
bids
think
that
you
we
just
received?
reject the bids for today for the 63 acres. And in fact, that you don't know exactly how much you've got tillable acres there. And then you could enter negotiations with the other landowner about getting that farm.
Kim, I guess Craig was the bidder for the 63 acres, correct? Would you guys be interested in farming the 7 that's left? I mean, that's a long ways to run to get to farm 7 acres.
They're already farming right across the road.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
So it'd be.
so you would be right there farming?
Across the road.
Okay,
It would be.
okay. Would that same bid hold for the 7 acres that was bid for the 63, do you think? I realize you're not the actual bidder, but.
I don't know what he turned in on the 63. I know what he turned in on these 7 or 8 acres.
Okay, on the 7, okay, so we have a bid on the 7 acres.
Yeah, it's $150 per acre on
Okay.
whatever acreage is left, but
Okay.
then we're not sure exactly how much that is, but.
Okay. I guess I'd like to figure out how to resolve that today. I mean, we've got the buyer of the 63 acres sitting here, the other, and we've got maybe a representative, the father of the bidder for the other 7. I'd like to resolve that today so these guys can don't have to come in here and waste another day screwing around with this.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, reject the bid on
I'll
the,
make a motion to reject the bid.
yep. Here's the corrected minutes.
Oh. Okay, so as far as proceeding from this point, we can either, enter into negotiations or we can, advertise again, but I think like Steve said, it's too late to advertise again.
Well, but
So at
you,
this point,
yeah, and it's a de minimis amount, so under your own purchase policy, I mean, you're talking about, $1,200 maybe.
Yeah.
So I think you reject the bid and then we can open it back up and see, if there's individuals here that'll lease it, then let's get a price and let's get it done.
yeah. Kim, are you in a position to negotiate for Craig or not so much?
Yeah. He gave me a limit.
Oh.
Good deal.
Okay, so could we open bids from the floor for negotiation?
Yeah, after you
purposes?
take action on this, yeah.
Okay, I would second it. You made the
Okay.
motion, right?
Yep.
To reject all current bids. Okay, so then at that point, we would open the floor for,
Yeah, because it is, like I said, it's under the spending threshold that require you to advertise anyway.
Okay.
So you could take bids on it and see who wants it.
So do we start with?
Yeah, you got it.
Craig's?
Yeah,
so we
you got
would,
it.
we would,
$150
we would open the floor for,
Yep.
for bids from the floor. Yeah. So. So, yeah, I don't know if we
Hey,
need
no
to use,
collusion back there now.
I don't know if we need to use our auctioneer services or not.
Let me do the other stuff. I'm out of this.
So I would open the floor at this time for a bid on that. What was the 6
It's about 6.5 acres, it looks like, but
Approximately 6.5
Approximately.
acres.
6.5 acres?
we'd have to figure it out and put it into a lease agreement.
Okay,
But if they bid it by the acre, then it'd be subject to confirmation of tillable acreage.
yeah. So. Yeah, Kim, Dean, I don't know if either one of you would want to put an offer on that
I
ground.
didn't really know how this whole thing went,
Yeah,
We didn't either.
No big deal over.
as far as auctioneers go, we could open it up at $300.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If Greg wants to farm that, that's fine too.
So, yeah. So-
I'll give you a bid of 175 acres.
Okay,
Then you gotta pay the property tax.
Yeah, and that hasn't been determined yet either, so.
That's what?
Yeah, that'd have to be, yeah, it's subject, yeah,
And I know in the past, and they paid the property tax.
yeah.
Yeah.
The lessee or the individual leasing it pays the property tax, yes.
Yeah.
Which it hasn't even been split out yet, but it can be figured out.
Yeah.
So yeah, at this point, we've got an offer of $175 an acre plus property tax. So Dean, I don't know if you,
I'm good with Craig just farming into that, and he pays the property tax, and that's getting up there about what it might be worth, if not more, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
okay.
All right.
All right, if there's no other bids on leasing that ground, then we would accept the bid from
For 1 year or 3?
It's up to you. We advertise it for 3, so I think we would go with 3.
Needs to be a minimum of 3.
okay. All right,
And this is for Craig and Mason.
Okay, all right.
okay.
Remember, that needs to go to Beans.
All right.
All right, well, we would accept that bid and put that into record then.
Craig and Mason, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, very good.
Get back to work. Have to go find Ben, thank you, guys.
All right,
Does he have to come in and sign? Craig and Mason?
probably up to the auditor's office.
I'll get it. I've got his email, so I'll get something together.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kim. All right, very good. Thanks for that, Mark.
Yep.
All right, it looks like we've got our clerk here, so if you'd like to come on up, Shelley.
You ready for me?
You're
Yep.
on.
Man, you are right on time.
And so are we.
Well, you guys always run late, so I thought.
I know.
Yeah,
Just the minute you count on it, though, we're early.
yeah.
Okay, so.
We don't have Steve Coon here. He always talks so much. It just strikes the meetings out. Yeah.
He's on an anniversary trip,
What was that?
anniversary trip.
Oh, really?
His
Where'd he
20th anniversary, so I'm not sure where he went.
Didn't want to tell you guys,
Um,
so you wouldn't have to WebEx him.
Said he was turning his phone off too, so.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm here. As you know, I attended the change committee and I discussed this with them as well. After the selection of the primary, I've gotten a really good assessment of my election equipment. And everything really needs to be upgraded. I already had gotten quotes from the vendor that we use, and that's Microvote. So what I'm looking at to figure out how and where to, well, actually to pay for it. It's going to be almost $230,000 for everything. And that includes every replacement of a panel. I have 74 panels that needs replaced. I have all my e-poll pads. They are definitely needs. That's the first thing I talked to Microvote about. I need to replace those pretty quickly. And there's about 14 of them, and also with the hot spots included. And that's about 10,000 right there. I will need these fast printers that on election day, we have to do zero proof, to make sure there's no votes before the election. They have to be running, so they're chargeable. And I need those replaced as well because I also assess those to see if they were even working correctly, and they're not. A poll worker said I had to plug it in and keep going, and that shows to me that it's losing its lifespan. And of course, I've already had requested doing it, and I was going to budget this for my election printer, but I thought I would do everything all at once, just to put it under the bailiwick of the election, voting equipment. So where and how to pay for it?
What are your
Hope you're not
thoughts?
looking at us for that.
I know, I'm like, where should I go? I approached the idea, if we had any ARPA money, but I don't know if that qualifies with election equipment. I don't know what's the guidelines for ARPA.
That
for
would probably be a request form to Julie Marie, and she would let you know if it's qualified or not.
Okay. Is that what that, because nobody really gave me that direction to
That's
try.
really Marie's done it since we got the ARPA, so She could request for her.
What's the total cost?
It would be almost 230,000.
And then it would, then that request form and everything would come to the commissioners. Commissioners would have to approve it, and then the council would also have to approve it. That's how that
So
works.
say if it doesn't follow under the ARPA guidelines, and I have to use a line item.
Well, you certainly don't have anything, under clerk equipment. You've got a total of $1,400 in there.
You have to come out of a Cuban fund for equipment or something.
Yeah, because I remember the council zeroed it out for Cume Cap
Yes, you.
for clerk equipment.
Maybe.
But I did approach a councilman and he did kind of suggest that as well, to actually put it in
Like
that line item.
1138.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'd have to be an additional appropriation.
Yep.
From council.
So we've got, in 1138, we've got computer hardware purchase, computer software purchase. I don't know if that would fall under computer hardware.
Yeah, but if that's already been appropriated probably for other purchases, I think it needs to have to go to council, be approved. They'd have to decide what funds they want to.
Like if that were to go into your budget, we have budgets coming up, but obviously that wouldn't be available to 24 for the new budget.
So like
You
say,
have to wait till 24 minutes.
Yeah, well, this would
If it
be,
was in your-
yes, this is, request to be, because I think Michael will really work with me to, they
They probably break the payment down to a couple
and they
years.
can do that too.
Yeah.
so are you thinking like 1140 Hume Courthouse? Or what are you?
That's a possibility.
Because there's just under 300,000 in there, 299,064.
But you're saying this would be a 2024 expenditure then?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we just need to approve it, let
Approve
council
it.
figure out where the money's coming from.
Because
we-
budgets haven't been turned in yet.
Yeah,
They do
it's
it
just be
overnight, so-
part of your 2024 budget
Yeah, that's why I kind of thought, well,
discussion.
see how this goes and.
Are there other vendors other than Microvote? I mean, I know that's the one we're used to, but.
And I really hate to switch somebody that I have, actually, I have to tell you, since I wasn't budgeted for this year for the primary, for municipal, they were a godsend when I called them to help me work through the steps. They're right there, and if I have an issue, they help me through it. They're there. They're very.
Do they provide a lot of the equipment for the other counties throughout
They
the
do.
state?
And actually, if I can kind of segue a little bit here too, I know that the discussion was about these cases that we're going to get. I kind of pushed it back to get these cases. I can get them right now, but they're bigger. And everything goes in them. Instead of having two separate cases for the one booth, it will be one booth, all incumbents. But it's heavier. It's a little longer. So there's.
Is it
storage I
light
have
enough
for
still light enough for
delivery.
one person to carry?
And that's another thing I have to already wake up at night, says I told Stan, that poll workers, the age that they are, having to do these equipment, I've got to reassess that too. I can't have poll workers having to set these up, bring them back, and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of things that I've got to work on with regard to that too. So back to your Microvote is the one that's doing those cases. And I looked at those cases, I like those cases. Because everything isn't all in one. And it's going to be not as all these cords, all over the place to.
So you feel like you've assessed the options, you feel like this is the best option for Adams County, stay with the current vendor?
Stay with the current.
Would this include the printers that you see they were relatively new, weren't they?
And luckily for our county, we have all the printers to match to the panels.
Right.
So we don't have to
So
try
we
to work
wouldn't
with,
have to replace those printers then?
because they're maintenance too, as well as they'll come, Microvote will maintenance those
That's
as
another
well.
reason to stay with Microvote, is we wouldn't have to replace those.
Yeah, so because then we would have to change all our equipment, even our software, everything like that. It probably would be kind of a nightmare to go ahead and change it. to something
As long
else.
as, if we're not having trouble with them, I just wanted to,
Sure.
I just want to make sure that you were surveying the landscape and, yep, we're still with the right vendor.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have,
agree.
do you have a specific quote for us to approve from Microvote?
230,000, is that the
It's
number?
like my total for everything. Now, one is Perry for the election printer that I ever need to replace and some bags and stuff like that, but everything is within the election.
Yeah,
I think what you can do is just, approve the request to, get quotes or bids to, make the equipment change in 2024. But we still need to make sure we're following procurement guidelines since we know we're over 150 and just make sure that,
And that's the thing, I don't want to go for bids. I have to go to another vendors and try to work with them.
Well,
and I
but-
don't use them. so-
but we may have to.
Mark
I
said
mean,
you might have to.
yeah, we just got to look at the nature of the equipment that we have and the software and, whether that's, can be bid or not. And if not, then there's special purchase methods and we may be able to pursue that. But I'd hate to commit to saying we're going to use that vendor when we know that we've got that.
well,
mistake.
and if we have to do it that way, do we have to have her write up a set of specs?
Mhm. Yeah, but it still needs to get in front of the county council, obviously, so for appropriation. So I think that's the first step. You need to know that you've got funds appropriated so that if and when you do send out RFPs or bids, you've got the money to approve a project.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get the cart before the horse, approve a project and a vendor and a cost and we don't have any monies appropriated yet. I think that needs to be figured out first and then we can figure out the actual procurement method. So.
But I have your approval to seek with council to go
Yep.
ahead and do this process.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And I
approval.
kind of wanted you guys to know that this is the process I'm going
Good.
through. And
Good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like
Makes
it's
sense
time
to
for
me.
sure, yeah.
yeah, they're older and things don't last as we'd like them. That's for
About
sure.
how old do you think they are?
The panels themselves are almost over 20 years.
Yikes.
It's been since 2 or 3 clerks before they got those, so.
Well,
Been around a
and
while.
I know Jim had talked about in the past replacing the panels and the machines and stuff, and we just never pulled the trigger on that.
And it's the thing, I programming them, I saw issues, I just was like, yeah, it's time, we really, and plus, there's, the new panels are a little smaller and they're more visible for the public to look at, and, because sometimes when you're voting, you can't exactly see, is that the right candidate I'm choosing?
Yeah.
So this will be a lot better for people's vision as well.
Yeah.
I remember when that system was bought initially and it wasn't cheap back then. So.
Obviously, it was a good choice. If it's lasted us
It's
20 years,
been
not that it
around.
lasts 20 years anymore.
Especially technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys make a motion
And I find it,
continue.
I like the fact that it's
No, there's
pretty
been
simple
no
to
motion.
vote. I mean, it's an easy process.
Yeah, I like that button type thing,
Yeah.
I really do.
Do we need a motion or can we just, direct her?
I think you could have a motion approving her seeking council's appropriation of funds and then come back and we'll determine the actual procurement process.
Good. So moved.
Second,
Thank you, John.
well, obviously, our elections this year are important and then next year will be
Yeah, it'd be a biggie.
a lot bigger event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I definitely need the help at new machines.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Good deal.
Yep, good.
Shelley.
All right, Mark, did you have anything for us?
Make a hole. First one, yours. East side. Golden Meadows.
It doesn't happen very often that we get assigned the same one.
Nope.
So we're signing down here now, up here.
This guy.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's so busy.
So this was one big piece
Mhm.
and they've come up the creek
Okay.
line simply. The three pieces. So one piece and these lines right here created that and then that. So a 3 lot minor subdivision.
You don't see any issues with it?
No, it has plenty of acres. It's good. He's breaking off the barn, so it helps run that, run the houses. The actual reason for it.
Motion approved.
Second.
I'm in the right spot here,
I
Steve.
don't know if we made a motion here.
We didn't, did we? Did you need a motion on that first one? I thought we were, okay, I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay.
Subdivision.
Everything was there.
Yeah. Nobody here. You're the only one. Well, just like last month, you can see we still getting out
Dropped a little
a
bit.
lot. 52 for the year. Compared to last year at this same time. Extremely busy driving around, keeping up with inspections. We added a new line at the bottom for receipts. You never see the money that amounts. But we had that.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Good.
Did you just change that last year? I forget.
The,
The
that
permit,
line,
permit fees.
no, those haven't been changed for 5 years or so.
Okay.
It's been a while.
So I remember you did that. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Make a motion to accept Parks report.
Second.
All I got.
All right. Anything on the dog breeders? As far as, they get any more responses back?
I haven't got them all responding. I have had some. One that was kind of funny because he's like, he has over 10, which puts him in every category almost. And he was still trying to decide if he wanted. Like, you don't get to
You don't get
decide
to
whether
decide.
you want to.
get to decide whether you stay in business or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to, and we'll go from there. Then he called back about a week later. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead with this. And I've called USDA and I'll let you know when I got that taken care of. I said, all right, but be sooner than later. And so we're gonna give him 30 days and see how that goes. And
Well, I wonder if the USDA has been more responsive, because that was kind of some of their excuse, wasn't it?
Well, the only one that had that excuse was somebody that, again, we have very few of these that have that little, we have, our ordinance says we need you to have USDA if you have 3 or more females, but USDA only demands it from 5 or more. And so one person complained that he was having a hard time getting them to do it because they wouldn't. They didn't want them to do it. Said they're too busy for that. So he actually is going to be going down to 2 and have that issue. Nobody else is in that category. They're all 5+. Just have to get straight. Good. We've had several that have called, few that have not, and this is the month they're going to get a visit. So we're trying to one last letters and whatnot, and so we'll just go out and knock on doors. Ask them if they're still on it or not.
One of the things too, and it doesn't specifically fall in your venue, but as Council on Aging is looking at putting a garage up, it falls in your venue because of your experience in past business. But between Michelle, the director, and Mark had some ideas on a garage too. And I don't know if she's contacted you. I suggested maybe she did for just a little bit of design help.
Yeah. You absolutely could do that.
So,
A heartbeat.
but if you'd be willing to do that, that would help her out from the design standpoint.
And then she could have more specifics when she gives it out to bid.
Because Mark has put up a building with Miracle Trust. He had real good luck with that in the past. And I thought, well, maybe this is a building that would,
They're not bad. They're a little more money, but Miracle Trust is actually out of business, but they have K-Trust, which is the same similar deal.
Isn't it employee owned now? Because they're still on there.
Are they?
I think so.
I know 2009, they kind of, something.
But they're back.
Yeah.
I sent them an email and they responded. They're still there.
Building they do.
she talked about, well, shoot, I don't have that in front of me right now.
Well, the initial design, it was narrow and it was long and it had about 8 overhead doors. And I'm thinking, well, what if you know, and with the free span truss, you know, it wouldn't have to be huge, but you could go up to, 12 or 14 to the square, maybe eliminate some of the doors, be able to drive in and out. Anyway.
Yeah, if she tells me what she needs, I could absolutely help
Well,
facilitate it.
maybe I'll say something. I'd mention it to her, but maybe I'll say something to her again if you're willing to help her with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That'd be-
so,
You
because
put,
hopefully we'll get something done this year.
you put one of those up, that was your shop, that was a Miracle Truss.
Sure was.
I love that system.
It worked great for that.
Yeah, and I don't know if, it's if they're gonna insulate it. Did you spray insulate yours?
I sprayed it and fiberglass. I had 2x6 on the walls, 2x8 on the roof. I filled it with fiberglass and sprayed them.
That was tight.
You don't need 2x8s on the roof. You can get by with 2x6, but that's what you're doing with it. That's what they're after.
Mhm.
Insulation or no insulation, a lot of questions there.
Well, those are the kind of things that with your expertise, and her, she knows the number of vehicles, and we talked about putting a small area in there, like a break room type area, so that would,
What did you say this was for?
Council on Aging.
Their vans.
Yeah.
Do they have anywhere? They don't have,
They just park them outside. So,
go out by the police station or?
No, it's actually an old Northwest school is where they're at. So we're looking at getting some land there and trading it with the city and having,
I'd be happy to.
okay. Good deal.
Thanks,
Thanks, Mark.
how much is concrete now, yard?
150-ish.
Yeah. All right.
It's less than I-
Mark, do you have anything else?
I don't believe so. We just had that lease to talk about today.
Okay. Anything else for Mark, Paul?
I don't believe I have anything.
Okay, we got our closing this afternoon, 2:00.
2:00.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know with that whole process, between you and Ed, have just made that whole thing work. So I really appreciate that.
Yep, it's gonna be done.
Okay, very good. Shannon, did you have anything for us? No? Okay. All right. Anything from the general public? Okay. No? All right,
Nothing. I have nothing. Motion adjourned.
second? All right. Meeting adjourned.